All right, so let me see who's here. Ariana, I think I saw you somewhere. Oh, there you are, right on the top of my thing. Talia, there you are. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
You're there twice.
I know. I got like one. Don't disregard. I'll get off my
It's your
computer.
doppelganger.
It's
Let's see. Taryn? Did I see you? Not yet. Paul? Are you there?
Here.
Are you feeling any better?
Yeah, I just had stuff to do this morning, so I didn't make it back on campus.
Okay. And let's see, Reagan? Joe, there you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything going okay? You're not going to come to campus anymore?
On Tuesdays I will. Thursdays it's going to be. It just depends on a few different things. So, but Tuesdays I'll be there. It's just Thursdays will be either on campus or on Zoom.
Okay. Are you on a phone? Joe?
No, ma'am, I'm on my computer.
Oh. It helps if everybody puts their sound on mute when anybody is talking. Let's see, LaDestiny, I see you, or I see your name.
I'm here.
Okay. And Raihuna is here in the classroom. She's our only person in person today. Dana?
Here.
Here. You feeling better after whatever?
I am feeling better. I'm going to tell you straight up, spider bites are nothing to play with. They can make you very, very sick.
Oh, that's terrible. What do they do to it? How do they have to cut out like where the bite is or something?
Yeah, I had to cut out, and now I've got to do like 6 weeks of the oxygen chamber where they stick you in the oxygen chamber and take you down. So I don't know. Yeah.
What kind of spider was this?
They have no idea.
They have no idea. Oh, great.
But I've got about a 6-inch gaping hole in my abdomen right now. So it's not happy.
That sounds terrible. And bugs tend to really affect me. So it makes me feel itchy and painful just to hear about it. Abby, are you there?
You say Abby?
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, I'm here.
Veronica? Don't see Veronica yet. Brenda, there
Here.
you are. Deasia, yep. Liz. I lost my. I think Logan's gone. Whitney. Alyssa. I've got this organized by major and by whether you said you'd be on campus or not, in case you're just wondering what the order is. Okay, so today we're going to start working on this new assignment, which is to write these 2 letters. And I'll ask you to tell me what you're thinking the topic will be for you soon. And the focus for this first class is on the bottom line and thinking about the purpose of the letter. And purpose is one of those things I guess I ought to change my picture, put something a little more cheerful there. I will see if I can find one. I still don't feel very cheerful. So on the bottom of the website of this page, we have a bunch of different words and for purpose. And purpose is one of those things. There really are a lot of sort of different facets of purpose. Because of the relationship, all right, this is what I want to do. Thought I had it all set up. All right. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm sorry again. All right. Now, I want to make sure you can see it. So when I type purpose on the board, can you see it? Not type, but
No, we can't see it at all.
No.
It's higher. The camera's higher.
the camera's too high. I can't raise it, so, I mean, I can't raise my writing, so we need to make it lower. Now, can you see it?
We can't necessarily see it whenever you're sharing your screen, just because it's so tiny.
Oh, it's so tiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm able to zoom in. I don't know if y'all on the computer or the phone, but both of them you can zoom in.
Yeah. Oh, you're telling everybody else, they can zoom in.
You're talking about the writing for work, the
Yeah.
thing you're sharing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're able to zoom in on the phone and the computer.
okay. Well, this is in the right spot, and if you can zoom in, you could see it. In the recording, you'll be able to see it and look at it. And since I'm sharing right now, I think it's kind of helpful to have both of these going. So I'll figure out a way. By December, I'll have gotten this all worked out. Okay, so purpose has an awful lot of different meanings to it. And you have the writer, the reader, and the context that's that they're in. And part of thinking about purpose is thinking about what the writer's trying to do. And so remember on that Google Doc, we were talking about different kinds of purposes people might have: to instruct, to persuade, to document, to, you know, get people to entertain, if anybody's reading anything like that. But purpose is also thinking about what it is you want the reader to do, sort of the end of the situation, or the objective. And that's got to that third category that I did in the document, which was thinking about the uptake, or the thing that you're hoping somebody will accomplish. And that's what the whole idea of the bottom line gets to. I want to talk about specifically this idea of the bottom line. So I'm going to, yeah, I got that now. So specifically the idea of the bottom line is trying to figure out, of all the various different purposes and your various objectives of what you want to accomplish and what you want the reader to do at the end, what is the main thing that you want to be sure people know? And, you know, I've mentioned this before, I think we live in a society where we're all kind of pushed into ADHD, where we have so many different things happening, and it's hard to focus and hard to know what's the most important thing, what we're supposed to do. And so when you're doing some kind of workplace writing, help everybody sort of go through that workplace writing. The example on the website, this ProseWrite material, she talks about an email that she got from her university, and it said that the subject line of the email was travel advisory. So she got that email, and about an hour later, a colleague called and said, why are you still on campus? They closed the campus. And she said, what? And it turns out that the email actually went on to say, travel advisory, classes are canceled because of the weather. She lives in Alabama, and apparently they had ice one day. And I was thinking about that just yesterday. I was at a meeting, and we were having this discussion about a committee structure that the university is setting up. And a couple of the people in the group said, I never saw that email. I never heard anything about that. And the rest of us, of course, we're on Zoom, so we can all go zooming around in our email. The rest of us actually found the email. But the email was this one. Message from the Chancellor. Is this what everybody's seeing, message from the Chancellor?
Yes.
Okay. So we got a email called Message from the Chancellor. If you got something whose subject line said Message from the Chancellor, you probably would open it because the Chancellor is the most important person. But also, you might just put it aside for later and not really pay attention. And so then later, when they start talking about something, you'll say, nobody told me about that. So the issue we were talking about was these, so ULR is trying to have discussions about race and ethnicity, and we're trying to have student discussions and faculty discussions and create some committees that will work on eliminating barriers. And so it's a really important thing, you know, in the midst of all this other stuff going on. You know, this is the main thing that our chancellor wants to also focus on as well. So this message from the chancellor is a really important one, and people might want to read it, but the best way for them to read it is probably if the bottom line were more upfront. So the bottom line about this is that it has to do with new actions being taken to help race and ethnicity. They apparently learned better on the second version of this. So you can see all my emails here, and I just separated these out that I wanted to talk about. This top one, invitation to join race and ethnicity groups, its bottom line is quite clear in the heading. The purpose of this email is to create an invitation. So invitation, invite is one purpose. What is the uptake by the audience that's intended from this memo?
To join the meetings?
Yeah, if you are interested in race and ethnicity issues, then you will do whatever it tells you to do to join. And so invitation to join race and ethnicity groups. Now, in general, our communications people do a pretty good job of the texts themselves, at like getting the bottom line up front, but they are terrible at subject lines. And they keep doing this. They'll have these subject lines like important, please read. How many times do you get an important, please read message in any day? Well, if you're like me, I get I have 3 different emails accounts, and I get about 100 emails a day in each one of them. And every single one of those senders thinks their message is important. And I want to know exactly what's in it so I can know whether, and I don't want to have to click to see what's in it. I want to know exactly what's in it so I can see if I should open it or not. Because if I have 100 different emails every day and I have to open each one of them to see if I need it, then I am spending a heck of a lot of time. So that's why one of my emails is commercial. I just give it to every company that I buy something from online. So one of my email accounts is entirely advertisements, and I completely ignore it. Except every once in a while when I'm thinking about buying something new, and I will search for the most recent post from that company and see if they have any special discount.
Dr. Matson?
Yes.
This is Ariana speaking. Emails reminded me that it looks like Veronica just emailed me and asked me to let you know that she did email you about her doctor's appointment today and she has to miss class.
Okay, thank you. So the weather announcements that the person, Dr. Kim, who wrote those Prose Right things, reminded me of ULR's announcements. And I was wondering whether or not our campus announcements were the same. So I looked in my email for UL Little Rock Communications and weather. And actually, I found this in the trash. But what I got from ULR was important inclement weather update. So the subject line tells me it's about the weather. I have my email set so I can see the first line, but if I didn't, I would not know that face-to-face classes are canceled. What would be a better way to put a subject line that tells the purpose? Instead of important inclement weather update.
Would it be like classes canceled or something?
Classes canceled because of the weather today. Or online, on-campus classes are canceled. And then you could put the details in the email. Emails are pervasive in our lives. And one of the things that you can do, whether it's personal or private, is use the subject line in an email to make sure you're telling whoever it is what the bottom line is. And I want you to realize, you may not realize that you can change a subject line. Let's say you forward it. You're forwarding something. So what I did was I took I guess I didn't forward it this time. I just sent my own email. Sometimes I would forward what the university did. But I sent my own email and told you guys that it was closed. I also told you, and I hope you all saw that if we have another weather closure, which probably won't happen if we do until December, that we probably just go online and be able to do that. Let's say I wanted to forward my message, or you wanted to. I do not have to stick with the subject line that's already there. I can pull down this little arrow, and any email tool that you use, including the Blackboard discussion posts, you can do this. If you are replying to or forwarding, you can always change the subject. So one of the things that just drives my husband and me crazy is we're in a neighborhood and we have a neighborhood listserv. And well, we have a neighborhood discussion. We really don't have a real listserv. What we have is somebody one day typed out everybody's emails, and then every time anybody wants to send an email to the neighborhood, they click reply all. And 3/4 of the time, they don't bother to change the subject line. So we've had, like, you know, lost dog from January 2018 as a subject line, and there's all these other things happening instead. And, you know, again, if I just see lost dog, I don't care, really. Or actually we do, because we have these two dogs that tend to ramble away. But if it says, beware of people breaking into our neighborhood, that is a more informative heading. And there's no reason why, even though I'm using the same list of email addresses, I can't change that. Okay. I forgot to make sure I had this available. Let's see, let me make sure. I know what I have to do. just as a background, what I'm doing is I'm going into my drive to look for a document. I got to my drive by clicking on the tic-tac-toe box above my Google email. Note it's still here. And I'm going to find our class. Let's see, did I? Okay. Open with, oh, I hate this. All right, we'll have to do it this way. All right. So if you watch the little video on week 4, and I encourage you to do that, as well as to read the various blog posts that Campbell had put, you will remember this memo. Sometimes making sure that you understand what the bottom line is just a really small little task. It's just making sure that the main thing that you want the person to know that you're sending a message to is upfront and obvious. So this is a memo from a construction job site. And it is sent as an email, but it's basically a memo format. Really, there's sort of hybrid forms that are developing because of email, and you'll notice this is sort of a hybrid format between a memo with a to and from and a letter with a Jack saying the name. And you don't have to say the from and the date because the memo itself says it. Sometimes it's worth it in emails because the email itself might get dislocated from, the Google Mail. And so it's sometimes helpful to have all the stuff in the email. But let's think about just the order of what you're thinking as you read this and of what you're thinking this is going to be about. So you get a subject line that's Agate Beach Site Update. So they do know what that is. They're working on a project, and I guess this is from the contractor to the owner, or from somebody who works, I guess it's from the superintendent to the owner to the contractor, the head. I've checked on the Agate Beach Road site and have been in discussion with Terrence Kelly, the foreman. So what do you know from that email? From that first line?
That she's checking up on the site and she's talking to the main person in charge about it.
Okay. So it's basically some kind of progress report, some kind of update. Well, we know that from update, so that kind of fits with the update. There was an unfortunate accident involving a front end loader, which came in contact with a corner of the structure and produced some damage. What do you know from that? Or what are you thinking if you're the owner of the construction?
There's been damage to the construction.
Yeah. How do you feel?
The money's going down the drain.
money's gone down the drain. You know, it sounds like there's a crisis going on. You know, for all you know, they're about to say, you know, our entire last 6 months' work has been upended, and we're going to have to buy a new thing and redo stuff, et cetera,
I don't know. I don't quite read all that quite into it though, from my
No.
perspective.
Okay. How about everybody else? Does it give you a sense of that there's a problem?
It gives me a sense of that there may be something that needs to be fixed ASAP before more gets destroyed.
Okay. So let's just jump down to the second to last paragraph. The extra cost for these repairs is minimal at $2,000. And once again, there are no added labor costs as Mr. Kelly and his crew have volunteered their time to do the repairs. Mr. Kelly told me he will document the volunteer hours and the specific repair work they do on an itemized statement to you, which he will send as soon as all repairs are completed. We should be back on schedule within no more than 7 days. I will send another update at about that time to confirm our progress. So what overall is the result of this accident? Is it a crisis?
No, there's no
one bit.
crisis, but there is a delay in the bottom line of when the project will be completed by a minimum of 7 days.
Okay, so there's a 7-day delay. Is there a huge expense?
Nope, it's very minimal, and everybody, or not everybody, but people are volunteering their time, so this is more of like a informational update kind of email.
Okay. So there's nothing wrong with the way it was put before, but it can be a lot better for the relationship between the superintendent and his boss if he thinks about putting it the other way, as in, don't give him the chance to panic about a bad thing and help him see that you're fixing it. I remember in one counseling session I had, the therapist saying, you know, if you don't say something specifically about what you feel and believe, and if you leave sort of a vacuum, the other person has a tendency to fill it in, and depending on their personality, they may fill it in with the worst, or they may fill it in with the best, or, you know, who knows what. And this is the same idea. This is a bad mask today. This is the same idea. If you can tell them clear, positive news, why don't you go ahead and do it so that you don't have them running along thinking about the bad stuff. So the suggestion that they have is, here's a revise. And in this case, all that it took, and actually I'd probably do some more revising, but just to emphasize the bottom line thing, all that it can take is to take that most important point and move it up front. So this point, the project is slightly behind schedule and slightly over estimate at this point. However, we anticipate being back on schedule within a few days. Take that, and the author then has a new first paragraph that goes, I've checked on the Agate Beach, which is clarifying that it's an update. The project is slightly behind schedule and slightly overestimated at this point. However, we anticipate being back on schedule within a few days. Now, if you have that as your first paragraph, What does that do in terms of the relationship between you and the reader? If you're the writer,
I mean, if I'm the reader, I'm going to be reading the rest of it in a somewhat better mood.
you'll be in a better mood. So, and one of the things that's, think about is every sentence is sort of laying the ground for the next sentence, which is laying the ground for the next sentence. So you've set the ground and you framed it in exactly the way you want us to show what's going on. What does it show you about you as the superintendent?
That you could communicate.
That you can communicate. What else? How
That
about
you
online?
prioritize.
That you prioritize. What else? What does it show you about how you deal with a problem like this?
You get all the information first and then give it to them. You don't just leave them hanging.
So what does it show about your work, not just your writing, because it does show all this about your writing. What does it show about your working? I mean, it shows that when there's a problem, you figure out what's there and you come up with a solution and you've got a way to handle it. So this required a little bit of negotiation among a bunch of people, et cetera, et cetera. But the bottom line that you're trying to show is that you've got it under control. It's not something that might be steamrolling into a worse situation. It is a problem, but it's under control. And that sentence, I'm going to take this off. With that sentence, starting the very first beginning of this thing, you're framing this whole situation in a very positive light about yourself and the people on the job and everybody else. Now, you don't have to do it that way, but why not? Why not use it as a chance to get it very clear about what you want? Okay. Let's stop sharing. All right, let's just kind of talk about the projects you're thinking about. I'm going to jot these down so I can remember better. So what are the topics you're thinking about? Whenever you come up with topics, it's just it can be very vague and you can kind of change it for a little bit until, you know, maybe the next class. So it's possible that hearing what other people are doing will help you come up with other topics as well. So what topics are people thinking about doing? I can just kind of
I'm
go
not
around.
sure what kind of, I'm sorry,
Is that, who's talking?
Ariana.
Okay.
I'm not sure what kind of topic this would be. I didn't really have much that I would probably write a letter on that. So I was thinking over the past like 6 months or so, but I recently am trying to purchase a house, and the guy who owns it, he had a wife and him who went in on the house together. They're both of their names on the house together, and they purchased it before they were married. they never transferred it over into whenever they got married. They never transferred it over into the new names of her and him. So he had to go through probate because it hasn't been 5 years since he sold it. Well, the Hot Springs County Probate Office messed up and they put him through a 6-month probate instead of a 90-day probate. So I think I might just do a letter to the probate office and explain how this moved everything for more than 6 months and how they should probably train better and try to see what they can do to fix this issue, just so that people who expect it to wait more than.
Are we past the 6-month period yet?
No, we're not.
Are we past the 90-day period?
It's coming up, but it's not past it yet.
Okay, and are you sure about the 90-day versus 6 months?
What do you mean? Am I sure of it?
Are you sure they made a mistake? That it's not?
Yeah, we were told by the realtor office and the guy who is going through the probate, because he just moved next door, and he came over and talked to us about it and explained that they messed up and they are having to go through a 6-month instead of a 90-day because they messed up on more than just ours. They messed up on a bunch of other people who applied for only a 90-day probate.
Okay. So what would be the bottom line of what you want to accomplish from that?
Maybe to see if there's anything that can be done to change it back to a 90-day instead of a 6-month. I mean, and if that's not possible, then to at least have tell them or have them tell me that they're training better and that they're looking at more in depth in these instead of just checking boxes and moving as quickly as possible.
So there's always this impulse to say you need to get better, but you don't really have any standing for that other than being annoyed. So telling somebody they need to train better, it's kind of not real helpful.
Well, my main goal is to see if there's anything that can be done. I'm sorry?
Who has standing to tell them to get better?
The guy who applied for probate.
No, who has standing to tell the probate office to fix their mistakes?
Probably whoever's over the probate office somewhere in the city.
It's a government office. Government
Yeah.
officials are above government offices. So it's the county. So who's your chief executive officer in the county? Probably a county judge. I don't know what Garland County.
I'm not quite sure. I just moved to Malvern, so I'm not 100% sure yet.
Is it? So I'm going to say there are clearly two things that you can do. One is definitely see if there's some way they can shorten it back to the 90 days or at least, speed it up. And two, if they can't, you go to the government official. In this case, you might say, I'm going to talk to the quorum court. So one of the things that I have found a lot of times with these assignments that students do is they require you to do a little research sometimes on figuring out who can fix it. Who has the authority, the standing to fix something that is a government agent. A lot of times we are complaining about government agencies or we're complaining about a large business or something. Both of these require the same thing. Just yelling at the person who is in front of you usually doesn't do anything. Figuring out who has the authority, the standing in the system to make this fixed, that's an important part of the thing. And that can be your action. I mean, one action can just be, I'll have to talk to the, I'm sending a letter to the county quorum court to ask them to look into this so that this can be fixed for all of us, So, because it's not just you, the individual, it's an entity. Does that make some sense?
Yeah, so would I try to find who it needs to go to and do a letter to them instead of the probate office for this
Well,
project?
that's a possibility. Or you send it to both at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, both of these, you just, you have to think about what will achieve your goals. Sometimes it's better to threaten to go to somebody. And that gives the original group the chance to try to see if they can fix it. When you make your first complaint and send it, copy it up the chain, that really pisses people off. They'll say, maybe they'll have ignored you anyway, but they'll say, you didn't even give me a chance to fix it. I see this on the UALR Fact Focus listserv all the time. There'll be some problem from human resources, which is always a problem. And somebody will send out this terrible email and copy the universe. And the person who could do something about it will feel so embarrassed, they'll be angry. And so, So that was a great example because that you came up with, Ariana, because it let us see how thinking about who's the right audience is so important. And secondly, about thinking about what can you ask for? If you're complaining about something, the tendency is to say, you gotta fix this. Well, a lot of times you and that person may have no authority. So I had this big problem with my internet. And I did spend some time yelling at this poor customer service person at AT&T. Well, she had no idea how to fix the dang thing. She's just hired to sort of push me along the chain. And there's like no point in me yelling at her except that it made me feel a little better. What was more effective was me asking, okay, can you figure out who is the office that I need to contact to tell, to get this fixed? That helped a little bit better. Great. Other ideas?
I know I said one other day, but I think I want to change mine.
Okay. What would you like to change it to?
So I'm gonna say this in a nutshell. So just moved into my new place and I got a patio set from Walmart. And they were I was informed that I would get an email and a text to do pickup. I didn't want them to deliver it, I wanted to pick up. And so they gave me an estimated date, time, and everything. But they would call. They said they would call, and it specifically says in the message, do not come to the store until you're, told to do so, whatever. So never did. Week passed by, and the day passed by. It was like the 21st of August, and I'm like, okay, it was on patio set. Haven't said anything. Haven't sent any emails or anything. And then it's like on the 25th, I went back to the only email that I got, which was when I purchased it. They give you a purchase, like the confirmation and thank you for ordering. So I went to that and I was able to check order status. So I checked order status and it was like, your patio has been refunded, has been sent back to the factory and refunded. Your money has been refunded. I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't do it. Like, what are you talking about? So one, I checked my account to see if my money had been refunded. It had not been refunded yet. And so I called customer service, and I was so livid to the point where I was It's like, I have not been this mad in a long time. I guess 'cause I just really wanted my patio set and I was expecting to have it. And so I'm talking to this man, and like you said, I was going off on him knowing he really didn't have any control over what happened. But I'm like, sir, he was like, well, we've refunded you the money. I'm like, I don't want a refund. I want compensation. I want y'all to give me my patio set. That's what I want. So so he just kept trying to emphasize on, ma'am, you know, I understand. He's like, it must be a glitch. And I'm like, a glitch? Like, I didn't get anything. So fast forward, he just kept telling me that I did get my it shows that they sent the refund, and, you know, it will come whenever, 5 days or whatever. It literally took like 2 weeks for it to come back into my account, which I didn't care about the refund. I just wanted my patio set. So listening to you and looking at other stuff, like, moral of the story, I want compensation on something. So whether they, I don't know, waive some fees or I don't know.
Did you ever get the set?
No, I never got it. I actually don't want that set anymore because I looked at the reviews, and just between us, I don't want that set anymore, but I do want them to get it together. And so thinking about what I would say, if I do order with Walmart, the compensation of getting, like I say, something, whether it's a fee waived or shipping fee, I don't know, but I feel like that's what it will come down to, because outside of that, I could complain about the glitch in their system that he said that they emailed me when I didn't get anything. I checked everything, junk mail, everything. And it was the same email that they previously sent me the first email on. So what, that's what I would say that will be at the top of my subject.
I would probably pretend that you still want it.
Right, yes. That's what I said.
Because the fact, as it turns out, that you end up not wanting it, so the whole thing ends up exactly where you wanted to be in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I would pretend that you still want it, and then because compensation for pain and suffering is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, and they didn't charge you anything, so getting shipping back or something, you know, is not going to happen. And but if you make it clear that you know he said it, and that what you want is to get it, and to get it in like some rapid shipment or something, that would make some sense.
I guess I just didn't want that to, again, because I was, up until like just recently, I was going to order the same exact thing. And I'm like, I don't care, you know, about the refund or anything. I just want the thing. So I want the patio set. So whatever y'all can do to expedite that, like, if you know, so.
Yeah, I put yourself back to the point where you were still wanting the patio set.
Right. That's what I'm more so now talking about the paper. So,
yeah.
So
what expediting it is definitely something to ask. And, you know, sometimes businesses will, you know, for your pain and suffering, will give you something, you know, because you have to, well, actually what happened with my AT&T thing, because I was so annoyed, she ended up upgrading my telephone service to allow me to have a hotspot, and she gave me all these discounts on so that I am ending up paying the exact same amount, which I didn't expect, but I certainly appreciate it. And that's what I think about when you return.
Right.
Does that make some sense, though? That's a great one. And then these complaints to something, the second part of the assignment is to pretend you're the audience and write the response. Those will be a lot easier, I guarantee, because you'll be trying to, well, in most situations, they'll be easier because you'll be trying to make it better for them.
Okay, let me say this real quick, so, and I'll be quiet. So if I was responding from their perspective, Walmart, corporate, whoever, could I, talking about expediting it as well as compensation, could I say, you know, we'll deliver it for, you know, free of charge, you know, as well as, you know, getting it sooner or, you know, overnight, a type of overnight type of thing or something.
Right?
Would that be feasible?
Has anybody in the class been, so is your phone on, Sarita, as well as your, is there, do you have two different devices on?
It shouldn't be anymore.
Well,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it is. Yes, I'm
So
sorry.
we're getting a lot of feedback because they're interfering with each other.
Well, that one's not. Is that really? Hold on one second, then.
Just
Let me
mute
see if I
yourself,
can mute.
Kalia.
Let me
Oh
see if I
yeah,
can
I
mute
wish
it.
y'all would have told me that. I didn't even know that was on.
I'm
It's
gonna
my.
remove it.
Yes, please do so.
All right, that's
I didn't even
fixed.
know that was on. I didn't even know that's my computer. I didn't even know that was on. I'm so sorry, y'all, because I can't even. I just hear myself. But yeah, I'm sorry. Is it anything else you asked me? Could you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's definitely better.
Oh man, I'm
Is it
sorry.
better for everybody else?
Why y'all didn't tell me? I was sitting here echoing out.
Oh, but there's still a little bit of echo, but I don't know what, anyway.
I don't know. It's
Um,
not anymore. I don't see it on the screen no more. If you deleted it. But okay, I think that's good.
okay, does anybody else want to tell us what you're thinking of doing?
Sure.
Oh,
Brenda?
yes. I don't know where this falls under, but in May, I made a purchase of a car, a cash car through through like Facebook and everything. And apparently the car wasn't usable after making the purchase and everything. So I had sent an email, trying to reach out to these people about this car, and I never got a response.
A car, oh, at first I thought you said car, C-A-R, but you're saying card, C-A-R-D?
No, CAR.
A car. You bought
Yes,
a
a
car
car.
over the internet?
Yes, over the internet or
Okay.
cash car. I know it's a bad choice. I should have done it, but I was in desperate need of a car at the time, and it was
I
for
don't know if it was a bad idea, but
and it was very, for cheap and everything. But apparently, I've reached out to them multiple times for May. I stopped reaching out in like July because I feel like, I guess at the end of the day, I've been duped and everything. So I don't know.
so through what form did you do it? Through a particular social media like
Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah.
I mean, just, what is it, Facebook Marketplace or something?
Yes, the Facebook Market.
Do they have any kind of protections?
I don't think so. I didn't see someone who was actually selling their car, and I didn't know the shape the car was in before they sold it.
Okay, so you bought this car, do you have it?
It's in the I'm trying to get the title for the car so I could sell it myself to like a junkyard.
So you bought this thing and they didn't give you the title?
Yeah, they didn't give me the title.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they probably don't have the title.
Yeah, they don't have a title, and I feel like they're not going to give me my money back. So I was wondering, like, if I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Oh no, so you report.
I think you need a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, that's money. The car, the amount I spend on lawyers is definitely more than the amount of the car.
So first thing I would do is
Go
go
to
double
the
check
DM.
what Facebook Marketplace says about sales and any protections and recommendations, etc. For example, because like Amazon has a set of rules that if you're part of Amazon, you know, one of their marketplace people, you're supposed to follow it. And so that helps protect you. Not that it always works, but I would at least at the minimum, and they may have no protections whatsoever, but that would be one thing to definitely become aware of. Because if there is any kind of protection, even like if they've just signed and clicked some kind of thing that says they're, you know, they will do something that's not even enforceable, but at least you can be aware of that and use that in your conversation with them.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you can.
Did the people at least give a bill of sale?
Did they give what?
Did the people at least give you a bill of sale?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if they gave you a bill of sale, you might be able to go to the DMV and file a lost title, and they can get it in your name. But if they didn't give you a bill of sale saying, I sell this to this person, they might not be able to do that. But that's worth a shot.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
And I hope you're not out of luck, but I'm afraid you might be.
Yeah, I know. I already gave up on the whole situation because, like, I'm still trying to, you know, waiting on, like I said, I was trying to get, like, the title and everything, but I was able to get another car, but it's still, like, you know, the money's gone.
But
I'm
that
sorry,
said,
buddy. Did you?
but that said, trying to write something that would be as persuasive as you can think of to convince them to do the right thing is a good writing exercise. And so that can be a great topic,
Okay.
you know. And you have to think about some of these same things, you know. You're not going to yell at it. You want to somehow make him feel guilty or responsible enough to do it, but you don't want to get him to feel like, you know, so mad at what you're saying. But
Right.
Did you pay cash or did you pay on like
Cash.
the card cash?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
it's a good learning experience.
Yes, it is.
And there probably is another writing assignment somewhere in there where you write to other people warning them not to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sorry that you lose money in this learning experience. There are costs.
Thank you.
So it sounds like a lot of really good ideas. I want to tell you what your homework is. So can you see my Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do a discussion post to think about the specifics in the ProsWrite material that's on the website to help you actually apply the general principles there. And so what I did is I created a discussion. Now, Blackboard was acting a little persnickety and it wouldn't let me move my discussions up towards the top where it's more obvious where you'd see it. So I'm sure it will let me later. I will put the discussions up higher. But I've created a discussion post, and what I want you to do is decide on a topic for your pair of letters, and specifically go through the material that is on the website about figuring out what you need to think about, what your various goals and purposes are. And I want you to post that as a discussion. You need to do it by Monday. I've been saying always right before class, but then a lot of times I don't have time to see what people have done in the few minutes right before class. So I'm saying do it by Monday night. I've set the discussion so that the deadline is 11:59 p.m. on Monday night. And so I've made this discussion as the kind where you have to post before somebody else can, before you can see everybody else's posts. And this is done so that you'll, instead of just kind of re-saying what somebody else might say, that you actually spend the time really thinking through this material. The second part of the discussion is once people are posting, I want you to make suggestions and comments to other people. Because as you can tell, the situations that you're coming up with, a lot of them are pretty complex and require some, negotiating, thinking about, and maybe you have to think about the appropriate audience, maybe you have to think about shifting your tone, whatever. And so makes the kind of suggestions like I've been doing as we've been talking through class. Questions about that assignment? So one benefit of that is that it will force you to have decided what you're going to do by Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, we'll work on it. And then the draft itself will be due next Thursday. And then what we'll do on Thursday is we'll have some kind of group conferencing using the meeting rooms in Zoom. I might say everybody will only do it online. We might do it that way. We'll only do it online on Thursday so that everybody can use the meeting room and we're all in the same situation. Then I don't have to worry about who's here and who's not. Okay? Questions? All right, you guys, have a great weekend. I know none of you is Jewish like I am, but I am Jewish, and our most important holidays start this weekend. So, which is Rosh Hashanah is to start. It starts Friday night, tomorrow night. And then, so I wish you all a great new year full of sweetness and honey, which is a traditional Rosh Hashanah blessing. Okay, good night.